Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Quick Poetry Knowledge. Today's lesson will cover a detailed line-by-line explanation of Robert Frost's poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. I have already uploaded a video featuring the summary of this poem. In case you haven't checked it out, please do so. You will find the link on the end screen of this video. So let's get started. So this is how the poet Robert Frost, he begins the poem, stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village door. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Whose woods these are, I think I know. The poet is enjoying the beauty of the woods which are being covered by snow. It is winter time and he is on the back of his horse. He is riding, and as he rides he suddenly arrives at a place which is extraordinarily beautiful. It is being the woods are being covered with snow and it's a beautiful sight, and he gets attracted to the beauty of the woods, and he decides to pause there for a short while. So he says that I think I know the owner of these woods. Whose woods these are, I think I know. I remember meeting this man previously. Maybe this is what the poet says, that I think I know whom these woods belong to. His house is in the village door. So the poet says that the owner does not live here in the middle of the woods. He lives in the village. He will not see me stopping here, and because the owner is nowhere nearby, he will not be able to see the poet stopping there to watch his woods fill up with snow. So the owner will not be able to see the poet stopping there to enjoy the beauty of the woods being filled up with snow, and the poet is loving the privacy of the moment, and he's taking a pause. He has decided to stop there for a while so that he can enjoy the beauty of the forest. My little horse must think it queer. Then he says that my horse must consider it very strange, because my horse is not used to seeing me stop in the middle of some forest all of a sudden, and especially when it is twilight, and that also in the peak of winter. My horse is not used to this kind of behavior on my part. My little horse must think it queer. Queer means strange. To stop without a farmhouse near. Usually when the poet is riding, he always stops only when he sees a farmhouse nearby. But today there is no farmhouse nearby. There is just the woods in front of him, and the woods are being filled up with snow. So my little horse must think it queer. Queer means strange. To stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. So on one side of the woods you have the frozen lake, the lake which is covered with ice, and on the other side there is the woods. So he has stopped at a place where on one side is the woods and on the other side is a lake, and there is no farmhouse nearby, and it is also very dark. It is the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. He means the horse, the poet's horse. He shakes his harness bells to ask if his master had made any mistake by stopping there in the middle of the woods where there is no farmhouse nearby. The horse is not accustomed to seeing his master stopping at a very strange location. So he shakes his harness bells. Harness is the gear used for controlling an animal. So the horse shakes his harness bells to ask his master if he has made any mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The only other sound that the poet can hear, basically it's a very quiet environment. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The other sound, apart from the sound of the harness bells, the other sounds that the poet can hear is that of the light wind. Easy wind means lightly blowing wind, and the downy flake, that means the flakes of snow which are falling on the ground. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. So the poet says that the woods are beautiful, they are lovely, they are dark, and they are deep, means they are mysterious. But I have promises to keep. And the poet says that he cannot linger there for a longer period of time. He cannot stop there for a longer period of time because he has duties to fulfill. He has responsibilities on his head, and he has miles to go before I sleep. And he says that he has a long distance to cover before he can stop to take some rest, and miles to go before I sleep. So these last two lines are being repeated because the poet wants to emphasize that human beings as a whole, they may be tempted from their path a number of times, but as a whole, human beings need to be very alert and cautious and not allow momentary temptations to divert them from their track. So and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. These last two lines of the poem are very, very meaningful. They convey a lot of like messages. They convey a strong message about duties and responsibilities that man has to shoulder as all through his life, and that is the main message, that is the central idea of this particular poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. That means it may be that during in the journey of our life, man may be tempted from time to time to enjoy certain things, but then man should not lose track of his goals. Man should not lose track of his aims, because every man has his own share of responsibilities to shoulder, and momentary diversions should not make him lose, should not delude him, should not make him lose track of his main objectives in life. That is the main idea that the poet Robert Frost tries to convey through his extraordinarily beautiful poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Well, that's all for today. Do not forget to watch my previous video on this poem. Meet you again very soon. Bye.